Proposal to raise the electricity tariff by 5%. Cigarette prices increased by 7 rupees. Lanka to cease operations and merge with Sri Lankan Airlines with effect from 30th of October. Estate workers take to the streets. Talks end without any solution. Patients at the Badula General Hospital inconvenienced several times during the day.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Silva.
And I'm Bernadine Jayasinghe. Very good evening to you. Now let's take a look at your stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena declared open the 3-story Dhamma Hall of the historic Gudagandeniya Kurukudaya temple in Pera, Deniya.
Following the ceremony to declare open the building, the Mahanayaka of Dasgiri chapter, Most Venerable Varakaguru Sri Gnanaratna Thero, placed the foundation stone for the construction for Chaitya.
We have been accepted globally for being a Buddhist country following the teachings of Theravada Buddhism. The issue surrounding the Vihara Devala Gama bill arose 7 to 8 months ago. We have presented this for further discussion with the Mahanayakas of the 3 sects and the Mahasangha. After obtaining advice, it was to be presented to Parliament once again this evening. However, with the situation that arose, I advised the Minister of Buddha Sasana to postpone this and once again hold discussions on any pending issues. We must always act in a manner where there will be no divisions among the Mahasangha and always operate with their blessings.
An international conference coinciding with the 150th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Police commenced today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The conference is taking place under the topic of future policing, prospects and challenges for South Asia and was graced by the IGP, senior brass of the police, the National Police Commission and police officers from the region. The conference is to end on the 6th of this month.
1.5 billion of them. The theory of abundance has played a
dynamic post-conflict society in Sri Lanka demands qualitatively and quantitatively a modernized police with a democratic outlook and commitment towards its responsibilities and accountability under the Constitution of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Human rights form the basis for the Sri Lanka Police Service, who are legally and morally bound to serve and protect the people.
Results of the Grade 5 Scholarship Examination had been released. The Department of Examinations said that the results could be obtained via the website www.doenets.lk.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe arrived in New Delhi today for a 3-day official visit.
The Prime Minister reached India following the conclusion of his visit to New Zealand. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe will attend the opening plenary of the India Economic Summit on Thursday and will also hold talks with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and several senior ministers of the Indian government.
Reports emerged today of a proposal to increase electricity tariffs by 5%. The request had been extended by the Ceylon Electricity Board.
Any amendment to the electricity tariffs that the CEB proposes must first pass through the Public Utilities Commission, which acts as the regulatory body. The CEB can make this request once every 6 months based on its expenditure and revenue. Thereby, it has submitted a request to the Public Utilities Commission for a 5% increase in tariff.
The Ceylon Electricity Board has asked for a tariff increase of about 5% from the Public Utilities Commission. Now we are actually analyzing whether that requirement is actually needed or not. So, in addition to that, we have also sought the government policy directives regarding such tariff increase. So as per this methodology we have been adopting since 2011, we analyze whether these costs are reasonable or whether they are efficient, so that can be passed on to the consumers. Now after this process, after getting government policy directives, we intend to normally, as per the process, to go for a public consultation regarding any tariff hike. So just because we got a proposal doesn't mean that we'll pass on that to the customers as it is.
What is the government's response on the CEB's request?
It is with utmost responsibility that we say that the electricity tariffs will not be increased. Some are very happy about this. They are happy that this will upset the government and that the people will find fault with the government. We will not let this happen. We will not create an environment for anyone to criticize the energy sector. The Minister and I both say clearly that we will not allow any tariff hike to take place. We are a government which in fact reduced electricity tariff.
As mentioned in your headlines tonight, now the Ministry of Finance has decided to increase the prices of cigarettes by 7 rupees.
No immediate price hike. We
increased the prices last night. No one asked for this, so the wrong impression comes out when this is published. It has been increased by 7 rupees.
7.
It has increased from 35 rupees to 42 rupees. That is a difference of around 16%. We hope to generate 22 billion rupees.
The decision to increase cigarette prices was also raised in Parliament today.
The Ceylon Tobacco Company issued 204,454,120 cigarettes to 16 wholesale traders on the 29th, 30th and 31st of last month. When the price increase is 6 rupees and 75 cents, somehow or the other this stock had been issued to these wholesale traders before 11:30 in the night. So this stock of 204,454,120 had run out in 3 days. So when you increase this tax, you did not get the revenue from it because this stock has been released to the market. There is an estimated loss of 1.38 billion rupees. CTC has become active before you. It has been pre-arranged in a tax evasive manner.
A company will not release the stock of cigarettes for no apparent reason. Private traders have paid and taken away stocks.
Political party representatives are calling for an extensive investigation to be conducted into the unusually large profit of 5.2 billion rupees recorded by perpetual treasuries as well as the central bank bond transaction.
Sources at the stock exchange market say that this profit is not the accurate profit declaration. There are 3 factors. One is the fact that the financial services VAT on the 5.2 billion profit they earned has not been paid. Secondly, they have not paid the tax on dividends, and because of that, the income tax has not been paid. So through this, the company has earned a year-end profit much higher than a banking company. So as the joint opposition, we strongly urge the authorities to appoint a presidential commission with extended powers to investigate the financial theft at the central bank.
Regardless of whatever influence that came from the Prime Minister, the President decided that this person would not be reappointed. Despite this decision, the Prime Minister directly involves this person into his affairs. This person has been given a leading role in the program to create 1 million jobs. The Prime Minister also takes this person along with him on official visits overseas. So what impression does this give to others? It implies that it does not matter how much wrong you commit as long as you are close to the government. Trade unions point out that the unusual profit earned by perpetual treasuries is harmful to the business sector in the country.
We have Ranil Wickramasinghe's closest friend Arjun Mahendran's son-in-law Arjun Aloysius. So we asked Maithripala Sirisena to look into how Arjun Aloysius earned profits like this before feeding the people bitter medicine. Look into the millions and millions of rupees of fraud which took place during the Rajapaksa administration. That money is enough to feed the entire country free of charge. Don't try to feed the people bitter medicine. We tell SB Disanayaka as well, before introducing bamboo tales to the people, first capture the rogues.
So now what does the police have to do? If they have evidence, present it to court and then obtain a court order. Are these persons guilty? No, this process has not gone to that extent. That is why we call this a charade.
We tell our dear Prime Minister, just like you are handpicking and punishing those who oppose you, would it be bad if you throw the ones who are close to you in a prison as well? I'm posing this question to you as a reminder.
Mihin Lanka is to cease all operations with effect from the 30th of October. The decision was made as the airline, which commenced during the administration of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, continued to incur large losses. Mihin Lanka Private Limited was initiated as a low-cost airline based with 2 aircraft. The carrier had scheduled flights to the Middle East, South Asia and Southeast Asia from Colombo. According to Finance Ministry records, due to its inefficiency since its inception, the budget airline became known as a loss-making state enterprise. The loss incurred from 2007 to 2008 was a staggering 3.16 billion rupees. The loss from 2008 to 2009 was 1.3 billion rupees. As of the 1st of January 2016, the total loss recorded by the airlines was a mammoth 17 billion rupees.
Mihin
Lanka will continue to exist as a company, but its operations will end from the 31st of October. It had incurred massive losses. The loss is 15.5 billion rupees or 15,500 million rupees. The capital expense is another 18,000 million rupees.
So the debt will also be taken over by...
Yeah, it has to be. And it can't be paid there, it comes to Treasury. When Treasury has to get revenues, they have to look at taxes or cut costs. That's what we are coming to.
When Mihin Lanka was initiated, the then opposition alleged that the airlines was kick-started to merely enforce the Mahinda Chintana and not for a national requirement. Today, this is a project that has wasted massive amounts of public funds. The joint opposition also raised questions on this matter. During our time, all airlines incurred losses. A barrel of oil was priced at $127. All airlines in the world spent a lot on fuel. Today, the world has the lowest prices of oil, gas, metal, cement and food. This is a massive depression recorded in recent history. Therefore, we could have rectified the situation now. Businesses do not begin to earn profits as soon as they are initiated. Then why is the government selling off state enterprises that are making profits? Mihin Lanka Private Limited will be merged with Sri Lankan Airlines on the 30th of October. The board of directors and several other officials at Mihin Lanka Private Limited were paid exorbitant salaries. With the decision to cease operations, will the responsibilities of these persons end as well?
As per the government decision, Mihin Airlines will be absorbed to Sri Lankan Airlines from 30th of October. Accordingly, all the routes that were flown by the Mihin Air will be serviced by the Sri Lankan Airlines under full service category.
The VAT amendment bill was tabled in Parliament once again today. The bill was tabled by Leader of the House, Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla.
Meanwhile, the draft of the Code of Criminal Procedure Provisions Act and Law Commission's draft bill was taken up for debate in Parliament earlier this evening.
The people of this country have different views on the state of affairs of the judiciary before the 8th of January last year. The people remember very well how the Chief Justice was thrown out of her seat when she opposed the views of the former autocrats. This government did not influence the judiciary. It did not try to throw out judges. It did not hoot nor hurl stones. Moreover, we saw the behavior of Justice Sarath Diabru. Cousin Puswala had written an article in the paper citing a statement given by Diabru's driver, how Diabru had been consuming alcohol at temple trees with the former president, saying that they are the ones running the government and that they are the ones who issue verdicts. Sarath Nanda Silva came before the public and admitted that the person who should have been sent to prison was sent to the royal palace and that he asks forgiveness from the people. So the Chief Justice is asking for forgiveness from the people for a verdict he issued. So what more needs to be said about the other verdicts he issued? The files which were hidden away by Mohan Piris were pulled out by this government. Today, even our people are being thrown behind jail. Cases are being filed against them and the law being implemented. I can't speak about this since I am in Parliament. However, I am making this statement while taking a massive risk. Because one day, if I do something wrong and go before the judge, I will definitely get the punishment for it.
Authorities have introduced a new hotline for those affected by the drought, which is prevalent in 7 districts of the country. People in villages affected by the drought could contact the 117 hotline to obtain water bowsers for their areas.
The Disaster Management Center says that over 200,000 people have been affected by the prevalent drought. Water facilities are supplied to those affected based on requests made by district secretaries. Locals of villages in the Batikalo, Vaunia, Pulannadua, Anuradhapura and Munawagala are compelled to travel for miles on foot in search of water. Locals of Tanamalvilla, Sevanagala, Vallavaya, Katharagama, Madagama and Bibila in the Munawagala district sustain their water requirements from small water sources.
Estate workers continued to stage demonstrations for an 8th consecutive day today, calling for their daily wages to be increased to 1,000 rupees and several other demands.
Estate workers attached to the State Plantations Corporation in Kandy, Panvilla and Kalaboka demonstrated opposite the Kalaboka tea factory. They demand that their daily wage be increased to 1,000 rupees and that the number of ships per month be increased to 25. Another group of estate workers from Haliala obstructed the Colombo-Badulla main road and staged a protest today. Estate workers also marched towards the Avisavilla Labour Office and engaged in a demonstration. Heavy traffic congestion was reported along the Avisavilla-Colombo main road owing to the demonstration. Estate workers of the Petroso obstructed the Hatton-Balangoda main road and engaged in demonstration.
Tell the Plantations administration to come. We are ready to talk with them.
Another demonstration was held in the Alla Newburgh area in Bandaravilla. A demonstration was held in Yatiyantota. According to a correspondent, around 2,000 estate workers from 15 estates had engaged in the protest. Vehicular movement along the Hatton-Colombo main road was hampered owing to the protest. A special discussion was held at the Ministry of Labour in this regard with the participation of Minister of Plantations, Navindya Sanaika, Minister W.D.J. Seniviratna, together with members representing the Lanka Jathiga Estate Workers Union and the Ceylon Workers Congress. A number of proposals were discussed. We had long discussions about a system to provide wages based on productivity and a daily wage system. We still could not reach a conclusion. The Minister of Plantations is scheduled to hold discussions with representatives of plantation companies this evening, following which another meeting is scheduled to be held at 10 in the morning tomorrow at the Ministry of Labour. So far, a wage of 730 rupees has been proposed. Some trade unions have agreed with us and some haven't. However, I believe that we can reach a conclusion by tomorrow.
There are those who have been rendered helpless as they have no place to raise their issues and no one to tell them to. Persons who face many serious issues have taken steps to direct them to the Newsfirst Gamma, the 100 Days Initiative.
Signatures were placed on a petition this morning seeking a solution to the water crisis. The petition was signed by the locals from villages in the Balapiti Divisional Secretariat, including the Aurora village. Though they have easy access to water resources, they face a serious issue in obtaining clean drinking water.
I leave home at 5 in the morning every day to find water. After that, I go to work.
We have to rent a vehicle and travel 10 to 12 miles to obtain water. The hospital also says that there is an issue with the water we consume and we must find a solution for that.
For many years, we have been facing an issue due to the lack of water. We asked the Sivasagama the initiative for water and nothing else.
People from Nanathota Kosgama as well as Kurundugam Piasa were also present. These people have been facing this issue for over decades.
The government initiative took measures to solve issues of fishermen, roads and water with the monetary assistance of many. We have presented our grievances to the Sigosa Government initiative, hoping that it would bring smiles to the faces of our people. We hope this would bring us great relief.
A portion of the taxpayers' money is set aside to ensure the existence of free health care in the country. On the 22nd of August, however, Action TV highlighted the bitter truth of incidents where these patients have been deprived of reaping the benefits of Sri Lanka's free health service. We also revealed details that the specialist female hematologist attached to the hospital was not allowed to engage in her duties. Among the patients who visit the clinic at the Badula General Hospital for blood-related matters are residents of the Monaragla district. Before the establishment of this clinic, these patients received treatment from different specialist doctors. Later, they were given the opportunity to obtain treatment from hematologists, which can be termed as a blessing. In addition, this female hematologist should be given all the credit for establishing the new clinic soon after she was attached to the Badula General Hospital following completing her training overseas. Speaking to Action TV, the director of the Badula General Hospital revealed that it was the Director General of Health Services who provided arbitrary advice restricting the services of the female hematologist in a manner which not only violated the ethics of the profession and the regulations of the Sri Lanka Medical Council, but also the fundamental rights ensured through the Constitution.
On the 9th of August, the head of Health Services, who is the Director General of Health Services, visited the hospital for an inspection. The female hematologist made inquiries on this matter at that time. He advised that normal patients be directed to the physician and pediatrician, while cancer patients be directed to a specialist. This advice was given in the presence of all the other doctors of the hospital.
Following the revelation made by Action TV, the medicines requested by the female hematologist are being supplied without obstruction. However, the situation at present is that the patients who suffer from blood-related diseases are yet to be provided the full care of this specialist doctor. This individual, who must obtain in-house treatment from the hematologist, was compelled to spend half a day at the Badula General Hospital and the other half at a private hospital while receiving in-house treatment. This shows the disorganized nature of health services administration. Since the 29th of last month, this individual has been compelled to travel to a private hospital for an hour each day to obtain treatment. It is indeed a matter for a standing ovation that the female hematologist had taken measures to ensure that the parents of this patient will not have to bear the heavy cost of moving to a private hospital. As per the letter addressed to the Human Rights Commissioner by the director of the Badula General Hospital, there is no attempt being made to allocate a separate ward or at least separate beds for registered patients who require in-house care in connection to blood-related diseases. The director also notes that he sought advice on the matter from the Director General of Health Services. However, he has not revealed the response he had received. According to the letter by the director of the hospital, the female hematologist must take responsibility over the aforementioned patient. This individual needs special care as he has a rare disease. Is it the female hematologist's fault that he has to move from hospital to hospital to seek treatment? Secretary to the Ministry of Health, this is overdue.
Staying in local news, a tense situation was reported at the Western Provincial Council session today following a motion being presented against the statement made by the Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneswaran.
Presenting the motion, opposition councillors alleged that the Northern Province Chief Minister had made a racist statement. Ruling party councillors called for a debate on the matter and a vote was held. The debate commenced, following the ruling party obtaining 38 votes while the opposition obtained 30 votes. Opposition councillors stood up from their seats in protest and left the chamber thereafter. However, the JVP councillors remained in the chamber.
We are not aware of this statement. As a group, we have made a decision. The President and the Prime Minister are also against inciting racism. When a racist motion is being presented, Mahinda Rajapaksa's gang raises their hands for it. The Chief Minister and his group, as well as those who support President Maithripala Sirisena, will also raise their hands in support. The Chief Minister appointed by the President is raising his hand for the motion presented by the gang of Mahinda Rajapaksa. According to this motion, the President is a racist. If this matter is to be resolved, the Chief Minister must step out.
පාලනය කරන්න හරිනම් මේ මහමැතිතුමා එළියට එන්න ඕනේ.
Though the opposition councillors voiced their protest from outside the chambers, the ruling party councillors and the JVP councillors engaged in the debate.
Chief Minister Vigneswaran translated his statement Sinhala that explained the situation. He makes a request to not wrongly interpret his statement. I do not agree 100% with the statement made by CV Vigneswaran. Political representatives appearing on behalf of various communities are two-tongued persons on most occasions. President Maithripala Sirisena released the LTTE terrorist who attempted to assassinate him in order to spread his concept of reconciliation among the Tamil people. He released terror suspects. He hopes to enhance reconciliation through this. This president cannot do this alone. When the UNP and other political parties point fingers at others branding them as racist, they aspire to only increase their voter bases.
An elders program by Sri Lanka Ex-Servicemen's Association took place recently.
The event was held for the benefit of the elders residing in the veterans' home run by the Sri Lanka Ex-Servicemen's Association in Bolagala, Katana, which had Lieutenant Commander Marty Somasundaram graced the occasion as the chief guest. A key moment of the occasion was the unveiling of a photograph of late Bharat Wickramasinghe, a philanthropist who donated his property and an ancestral home to the Sri Lanka Ex-Servicemen's Association to establish the elders' home. The event was organised to coincide with World Elders' Day.
Sri Lanka Navy divers have located the wreck of the Valampuri passenger ferry 8 nautical miles north of Point Pedro at a depth of 15 meters. Valampuri was destroyed by an LTTE suicide boat on the 23rd of February 1998 off Point Pedro as she was returning from Trincomalee. 20 Navy personnel sacrificed their lives during the confrontation, and there wasn't a single survivor in the incident. The attempts to search for the vessel were not successful due to rough sea conditions and the volatile security conditions that existed during the time.